The AQ400 is SEAL's most recent addition to the discrete analyzer family. It features the reliability and ease that customers have come to know and trust, but now offers even more functionality and features in a new package. The AQ400 is a computer-controlled discrete analyzer that automates colorimetric analyses. The robotic arm picks up microvolumes of reagent and sample and dispenses the reaction liquid into a discrete reaction well. Each time a new reagent is added, the stainless steel sample probe mixes the reaction liquid by repeatedly aspirating and dispensing the reaction liquid into the reaction well. The reaction segments are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius to help catalyze the color reaction. After the final reagent has been added and mixed, the reaction time, which is determined by the method, begins. Once the reaction time has passed, the reaction liquid will have come to full color development and the reaction will be complete. The reaction carousel rotates to the aspiration probe where the reaction liquid is aspirated into the detector. The AQ400 has two possible sample tray configurations: an 80 position that holds 60 2-milliliter sample cups and 20 5-milliliter sample cups, and a 120 position that can hold 100 1.2 milliliter sample cups and 20 2-milliliter sample cups. The sample trays are keyed so that it only fits on the instrument one way, which guarantees that it is always aligned properly. The AQ400 is unique as it has two separate tray locations for reagents. Below the sample tray sits a 20-position reagent tray, which has the option to be chilled. Behind the sample arm is another reagent tray that remains unchilled that holds 6 reagents. Both of these trays can be removed at the end of the day and stored in the refrigerator. The 45 milliliter reagent wedges can hold reagents, diluents, calibration standards, and quality control standards. The AQ400 holds 12 reaction segments that are used for the preparation of the reactions. Each of these reaction segments has 18 wells. Therefore, the AQ400 can perform 216 individual discrete reactions before anything needs to be replaced. To prepare a reaction, the sample probe picks up samples and reagents and deposits them into a reaction well. The AQ400 does this by utilizing a 1,000 microliter displacement syringe. This displacement syringe is capable of accurately outputting as little as 2 microliters, which is why the AQ400 is able to work with such small volumes of sample and reagent. This displacement syringe can move liquid through two independent fluidic pathways in the AQ400. The first is the default fluidic pathway called the endpoint loop. This loop is used for the majority of your sampling, reagent additions, and mixing. The second is a cadmium reduction loop. The AQ400 has the ability to run online cadmium reduction of nitrate. When a sample is ready for the reduction step, the sample is pulled into the cadmium coil and the sample is sloshed back and forth in the coil to reduce the nitrate to nitrite. The reduced sample is then dispensed into a reaction well and the cadmium switching valve closes again before the color reagent is added to the sample. This valve allows the AQ400 to easily switch between different chemistries while protecting the cadmium coil from other reagents that may lower its reduction efficiency. Once the final reagent has been added, an incubation period begins. When the reaction has been allowed to come to completion, a peristaltic pump moves the sample to the 10 millimeter optical glass cuvette. The tungsten halogen lamp is surrounded by a filter wheel which contains 9 different wavelength filters. The correct filter spins in front of the lamp and light from the lamp shines through the filter, through the sample, and hits the photodiode board. The absorbance is then calculated and displayed in the software. After the reading, the peristaltic pump spins again, pulling the reaction liquid to the waste container. The AQ400 features segregated waste lines. One will be the hazardous reaction waste, while the other 2 will be rinse water. This allows you to further reduce any waste that requires proper disposal. However, with the typical reaction volume of somewhere between 5 and 800 microliters, each test on the AQ400 generates a very small amount of waste. During this entire reaction process, the AQ400 is constantly cleaning itself with fresh water in 3 separate ways. The first place, which is unique to Seal Analytical's discrete analyzers, is the probe wash assembly. This acrylic assembly sits at the base of the probe on the sample arm, and water is pulled through at a high rate of speed. This creates a cyclone, and as the probe moves up and down through the probe wash assembly, it acts as a squeegee and cleans off any droplets of sample or reagent. By completely cleaning the sample probe before any movement of the sample arm, the AQ400 is able to eliminate front-end contamination. The second location is the sampler wash station. This is comprised of 2 wells, an inner and an outer well. The inner well is refreshed with water throughout the run, and the probe will dip into this in between each sample or reagent addition, which cleans off the outer surface of the probe. The AQ400 also flushes clean water through the inside of the sample probe with the use of the syringe, which is then dispelled into the outer well to be drained away. The third location is the aspiration wash bath. In between each sample reaction, a peristaltic pump fills the bath with fresh water so that the aspiration probe can dip and wash itself, as well as, with the help of the aspiration pump, provide high-speed flushes of clean water through the cuvette. All of this fresh water comes from a reservoir on the side of the AQ400. This reservoir is equipped with a floating sensor, which triggers when the water level drops below a certain point. The software then alerts the user to refill the reservoir. If the reservoir is not filled within 10 minutes, the AQ400 will automatically rinse itself and wait for the operator to return. There are some new features that are unique to the AQ400. Maintenance is made easier on the AQ400 with a newly designed case, which features removable side panels. To remove a panel, it is as easy as loosening 2 thumb screws at the back on the side that you want to remove, and then give the panel a tug to remove. Everything that a user would need to do maintenance on is easily accessible. Even the syringe slides out and rotates for easy user maintenance. A unique feature to the AQ400 is the direct read feature. This feature forgoes the automated reaction preparation and therefore can be used for chemistry such as COD, where the chemistry was already performed in specific tubes. With the flow-through cuvette removed, an adapter is inserted which allows for absorbance readings to be taken of the direct read tubes. The direct read feature is available for all wavelengths.